Good morning, guys. It's about 7:47 or 9:47. It's Tuesday morning. Losing track of days here. 7/7/26, July 7th. So I'm on my way to the hospital. Just going to tell you what I plan to talk about on our way. Minuses and pluses, things that are working and things that aren't. I clicked the wrong button on my computer and I think I may have got a virus, but fortunately I was able to Google it and get it handled. The hospital is telling me that Suzy can't come home in my car, and so it needs to be gurney transport or some kind of vehicle that can take a wheelchair without her getting in and out. Yesterday I went to Social Security. I think I told you via separate video that it was a no on Part B at this time, so I have to wait 6 months, and plus they want me to come in for another appointment, which was not welcome news. And then YouTube stopped letting me upload as many videos as I am per day. I'm uploading several videos that I'm not making public that I'm going to be using as tutorials. I'm videoing the therapist doing work with me and Suzy. The pluses are I got good news about being able to take time out of the house without having someone with Suzy or taking her with me. I got a notification that we have some prescriptions, and I'm able to get them through a nonprofit for free. Yesterday I was able to do some work with Suzy, taking her out of the bed, putting her in the wheelchair. Often I'll use the word chair, not wheelchair, and you get the idea. It's wheelchair and chair are the same thing to me. And then chair to bed. And I think that's about it. And for family members via the Facebook page that we have a little group chat, I sent out some videos of my Aunt Joni Prescott's last get-together with my mom and Uncle Jerry and a few other people at her place in Santa Rosa, and the celebration of life gathering for my Aunt Sally after she had died. These are things that I've had either on my, just backed into the trash can. So give me just a second. So I was looking for cars, but not my trash can. I forgot it was Tuesday, which is garbage day. So anyway, no harm, no foul. Look for cars. So anyway, I had a bunch of these kind of things on my phone and an iCloud, and I'm being told to go in the wrong way. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm going the right way. And so anyway, I wanted to free up some memory on iCloud and my cell phone. I thought this would be a good opportunity to just take action and get it out to people that would value it. So family, I hope you enjoy and share with other people that aren't on the Facebook group that would definitely have an interest in having access to those videos. So I'm just gonna quickly go through the minuses here. I told you about the virus thing on my computer, and Pietro, my neighbor, he's like an expert in cybersecurity at a corporate level, so whatever I do is very minor. And I told him that I Googled how to kind of deal with this, and I told him what I did, and he says, yeah, you did the right thing. So I handled that. That's good. I was told yesterday that because Suzy hasn't been allowing the therapist to work with her, she's not improving in terms of her physical abilities, like putting weight on her weak side and doing the whole transfer from bed to chair to bed, chair to car, etc. Because she hasn't been doing that, and because she hasn't been allowing me to participate in the learning of it, and the fact that my car is a RAV, because Suzy's small, the RAV sits pretty upright, and it's It would be more beneficial for her to be going into like a sedan that has a lower seat. And the fact that a car, you have a very finite opening. It's not like going from the chair to the bed where you've got the whole side of the bed to target. So a combination of all those things, they're saying you cannot be putting her in the car at this point. You need to get better, Joel. Suzy needs to get better. And yeah, maybe you can do the rev. I mean, they were talking about 2 people doing the transfer. And I said, well, I've got a neighbor that's willing to be very helpful. He could help, like get her in the car or whatever. And they said, okay, you get her in the car, then what do you do when you get to where you're going? And then when you want to come home, what are you doing? And I thought, okay, touche, I give up. So anyway, they're talking about a gurney transfer, which is kind of like an ambulance. You're laying flat. And then the other one is like a van that's handicap adapted, and they wheel you on and somehow secure your chair in place. And then you come home. All of those cost money, which I want to avoid. There is a VTA, the Valley Transit Authority has a service where they'll pick up and drop off wheelchair people without having to get out of the wheelchair. But you have to make a reservation a week in advance, and I think you got to give them lots of flexibility in terms of your pickup and drop-off windows. So maybe an hour or more, maybe a 2-hour window. I don't know yet. So it's complicated, I told you about Social Security turning me down and requiring additional appointments so that I can be Suzy's representative without her present. And I'm telling the person at Social Security, listen, it's very stressful for her. She's been in a hospital bed for essentially 2 to 3 weeks. Not used to being in a chair at this time, and it's a big deal for me to transport her. I'm thinking I can transport her in the car, and my thought was, it's going to be like Mary's Little Lamb. Wherever Mary goes, the lamb goes, and she was going to be my lamb. Well, that's not the case now with this whole thing about not being able to put her in the RAV by myself at this point. And yeah, physically, I know I could put her in the RAV. That's not a question. But the whole thing is safety and making sure you don't hit the back of her head against the top part of the door frame going in. So you gotta just roll with it. So the other thing that was a positive I found out is a therapist, because like my impression, somebody told me early on, listen, somebody has to be with her 24 hours a day, because I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could do my daily walks that are 30 to 60 minutes. Maybe I just cut them down, do 30-minute only. And somebody was saying, no, you can't do that. And I was thinking I could take a quick jaunt out to grocery store for 30 minutes. And early on, somebody was telling me, no, you can't do that. You have to be with her all the time. So I'm envisioning that I'm taking her to the store, putting her in the car, taking her in the store, using maybe a handicap thing, or maybe just using one bag hanging on the handlebars of the wheelchair. I don't know, kind of like my old days of delivering newspapers. You'd rig up the bags for the newspapers on your handlebars if you had like I forget what they called it. You had raised handlebars was the thing in the 60s. So I was kind of thinking of that kind of arrangement on the back handles of her wheelchair to put groceries in. So that got scratched yesterday with me not, they don't say you're not safe to transport at this time. And so they told me you can get like a Ring camera or Ring camera equivalent, just put the Ring cameras in the bedroom where I can see her and speak to her through the Ring camera. Told Pietro about that this morning on my walk. He has something called, I think it's Blink, which doesn't require the subscription service, but it still goes to your cell phone. So I'm going to try to get up to speed. And Amazon has Prime Day deals happening starting tomorrow, so I'm going to see if I can get something through Prime that's a deal. So that's good news. I got a notification that Suzy has 3 prescriptions that are available for me to pick up. And the really good news is it's free. There's a nonprofit, I think it's called Better RX or something like that, downtown San Jose, where they collect prescriptions that are not used. And I'm not sure the story. Is somebody deceased? Is somebody no longer needing them? What the deal is, but they get prescriptions that aren't being used, that have been prescribed, that are fully packaged. And so I've got some of those to pick up. So there's no cost to us. But the bad news with this thing is their supplies vary, and so sometimes you're just going to have to pay for regular prescriptions. So yesterday I was able to transfer Suzy from the bed to the chair and the chair to the bed, and I did use something called a Hoya lift. This is I've told you about this kind of the skyhook thing that they have in the room that allows you to lift her and runs on a track. That's also called the Hoya lift, but this lift is kind of a metal tubular structure with a wide base that is movable, so you can make it wider or narrower depending upon where you're navigating, like wider to get her out of a wheelchair and maybe narrower to get her out of bed. And you kind of pump it up, it's kind of I think it's hydraulic actuated. It's not difficult to pump. It's like, it reminded me of, I forget, in my youth, there were times where we were getting water. Maybe it was a campground, probably a campground, where you'd have to pump to get the water, and you'd have to kind of prime the pump, I guess. And so, kind of reminded me of that. It was fairly simple. There was a process in terms of getting the sling on her safely and accurately. So I got to do that, both putting her in the chair from the bed and from the bed to the chair. So that was good. Suzy didn't want to do any of all that. They came in asking her, we want to show Joel and blah, blah, blah. And Suzy saying, no, I don't want to do any of that. And I said, listen, Suzy, you can tell these guys what to do, but you're no longer telling me what to do. And if you're going to come home, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. And so we promised that we were just doing the transfers. We weren't going to leave her in the chair. That was the agreement. She didn't want to stay in the chair. So that was a positive. She didn't want to do transfers from the wheelchair, go down and do it from the car here. Something that I really want to do, and if that's available today, we're doing it. So, what else? Because I need as much practice as I can get. They're coaching me all the way through this, and there are minor things that I'm forgetting to do, like make sure the seat belt's unbuckled when you're trying to do the lift, or, obvious things that make total sense that I may not be thinking about, because this is all new to me. But anyway, I feel like I'm making incremental progress. Had a neighbor come over that's relatively new to caregiving, but she's doing daily caregiving for stroke patients. Many of her patients have greater capability than Suzy. So it's just good to get her insight. I'm showing her where I have things and what I've bought, and she's thinking, some of these things are washable, and she's saying, I know you like to recycle and compost and all that stuff, but I think you're going to go through this stuff quicker than you think, and you're going to be washing every day, and utility bills and all that, and you might want to think about disposables, at least have a few on hand so you can kind of go between them. But anyway, so I'm coming to my parking spot. I'm in the garage right now. I'm gonna say goodbye. I got a special gift today from an anonymous source. So anonymous source, thank you for that gift. I did a separate video about it. So anyway, love you guys. Appreciate all of the support. It means a lot. Suzy's supposed to come home on Thursday. I'm supposed to get a wheelchair tomorrow if Amazon performs. We'll find out. If they don't, then I need to rent one, which I'm not excited about that all the gymnastics. Between now and the time that Suzy comes home, I need to clean and arrange. The car is a mess. I need to vacuum it. So if she's coming to do the car transfer today, I'm going to have to do some arranging. I brought a lot of recipes that are hand or printed from home. I want to talk with a speech therapist about what works and what won't work for her swallowing wise. Fair number of these are salads, like rice salads and pasta salads that have veggies and stuff in them. So I haven't seen any raw vegetables being consumed by Suzy here. So need to figure this out because these are nutritious and high fiber and all that. So anyway, peace. Thank you.